So from here on out, we're going to talk about a little about the experiences of any type of coach. We'll talk about being an intern, what I learned as an intern, hopefully that you can go ahead and bring back some memories of what you've learned along the way. We'll talk about being a graduate assistant with the valuable identities and what we've learned of being a GA coach. We'll talk about being an assistant coach. We'll talk about what a head coach has done. All right, for myself, and maybe you can relate. We'll talk about a little bit about the professional level, and we'll talk about the private sector level, and then we'll wrap it all up. But every place I've been, every coach I've coached with, every athlete I've had the opportunity to impact has served a valuable, valuable lesson. One thing as interns, what's this right here? Anybody know? Baby walker, right? This is where we learn to walk. This is where we learn how to set up weight rooms, how we focus on the attention to detail. My daughter is 9 months old, cruising. Cruising is when you're bringing your hands on, you can't let the hands go, but they're kind of walk around border, right? They'll boundary that. She's learning how to walk. This is where we go ahead and we put our feet on the ground, we strap our boots and say, let's go to work. And I rarely, ever, ever, ever hire a coach or meet a coach that didn't go ahead and pay their dues. It's about learning how to walk. It's about challenging yourself. It's about understanding the sacrifice of seeing this on your alarm clock almost every day. Is it fun? No. But what does it teach you? It teaches you about sacrifice. It teaches you about discipline. It teaches you that, listen, in order to go ahead and get to that bowl game, to live in that beautiful beach house, you got to see that. We all have the same amount of time in a day. We all know that. How are we spending that, especially as an intern? And then lastly, who can forget, we've lived on this before, right? If you haven't tried it, you are missing out. High fives in the back right there. You know what I'm talking about. You got no money, you're strapped. I went out to Arizona State. I rented a room off Craigslist. Who's done that? Raise your hand. Strangers, I just need a room. I'm never going to be here. I'm going to pay you a couple $100 a month. I just need to sleep. You get a little mini fridge. You go down to Walmart, find the great value items, anything you can do. You're sacrificing, okay? You're sacrificing your health and your wealth so that eventually you can go ahead and take care of that later. So valuable lessons that we can't forget. What else? I keep bringing up is sacrifice. What is sacrifice? It's giving up something, okay, that you value for the sake of something else that will be more important or more worthy. We do it with sleep. We do it with relationships. How many of us have lost a significant other in terms of dating, or maybe a fiance, or maybe even a marriage, because maybe they just didn't understand, because you were trying to do what was best for your family, but they didn't get that? Raise your hand. I did. It happens. And you try to explain to them, listen, honey, I'm trying to do this now so we don't have to do this when I'm 35, 40 years old. But they don't get that because it's immediate, all right, sacrifice. Well, I don't see that. How come everybody else, they're going home early? Because he's been a head coach for 10, 12 years. Because we're soldiers. Because this is what we have to do. It's giving up things right now because there's a bigger picture. There's a clearer end to the road. I love this. I tweeted this out a couple days ago, and I use this with my interns and our athletes. We work with athletes anywhere from 11 years old all the way up to, let's say, 22 years old. Most of our average athlete, okay, is a 15-year-old female sport athlete, usually soccer or lacrosse. We have to teach them life lessons, and that's what I love about coaching. What we want to do is we want to stay in that little circle right there. We want to stay inside there because it makes us feel good. I had you move in and introduce yourselves because that's outside your comfort zone, isn't it? You want to hang around with the people that you know. We don't want to go out there and introduce ourselves. We don't want to go to the vendors unless they have free samples. That's the reality of it. But stepping outside of our comfort zone will allow us to continue to grow and develop in all aspects of life. So how can we relate as a coach to another coach, from me to you to each other, and from me to my athletes and interns? That's where it all happens. That's where the magic happens. How many of you stayed up past dinner last night and interacted with coaches on a more social level, personal level? Raise your hands. How many of you went to bed as soon as you could? Even better. That's where we learn. We're going to learn a ton during the day, but we're really going to learn when we're outside, when it's late night, when we go ahead and ask, hey, coach, can I take you out to dinner? Can I just talk? Can I have like an hour of your time? It's tough, especially if you're an introvert, but that's where the magic happens.